Hello everyone and welcome back to my The Young and Restless 24 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Victor Newman may fake a medical reversal and go to axes in his plot to blow up Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman's relationship. Although Victor California ain't force Claire to do what he wants, he could clearly manipulate her into seeing effects his way. Y&R suckers know Victor was injured thanks to his recent sweepstakes with Ian Ward, so he's had some weak and agitated moments during his recovery. Victor's fire shook up his family since they could have lost him if effects had turned out else. At some point, Victor might decide to use that to his advantage and lean into some dummy medical complications. It's easy to imagine Victor faking a heart attack or at least pretending to collapse as part of his plan. Maybe Victor could carry a big medical reversal in front of Claire. Victor might provoke Kyle into their worst showdown yet and make it feel like Kyle's the bone. Who brought all this on? Kyle may eventually decide he's had enough and unleash his fury like no way ahead. As Kyle gets in Victor's face and enthusiasms, Victor could ship over and give Claire a front row seat to the whole thing. Claire has assured Kyle that she wouldn't let Victor stand in the way of their love, but her grandpa's medical extremity might change her mind. It could maybe leave Claire redefining her precedences and lead to her deciding it's just not worth it. Still, she may determine that she can't have that on her heart if Claire feels like her romantic choices are going to shoot Victor into an early grave. Claire might tell Kyle that she can't do that to her family and contend they can't keep adding to Victor's stress like this. Still, Claire might be offended and gain another reason to push him down, if Kyle dares to suggest Victor is faking it. Kyle might have the right idea if Victor indeed pulls off a dummy medical reversal, so Claire could end up furious with Victor if the verity comes out latterly. Whatever the case, Victor has faked medical crosses to manipulate family members ahead. Claire might get the full Newman treatment then and admit an assignment of just how far Victor is willing to go occasionally. Our prognostications allude that Claire has some disquieting news ahead, so we'll keep you posted on any sanitarium trips Victor might make to dupe her. Victor will do everything in his power to tear Kyle and Claire piecemeal, so stay tuned for updates on all his designing. Lily Winters and Damian Kane participated further scenes together, and it's clear that he's relatively smitten with his half-family's kinsman. After all, he was supposed to head back to Los Angeles, but he decided to stay in Genoa City, and Lily was the reason. In fact, Lily was also the reason he shocked both Nate Hastings and Amy Lewis with an unanticipated visit at the close of Thursday's show. During his converse with Lily at Crimson before that day, he asked her out for regale. Still, Lily made it clear that she wasn't interested in entertaining that idea until he paid a visit to his mama. With that said, Lily was also introduced to Holden Novak and took the occasion to poke fun at him and Damian for the shenanigans they tried to pull on Nate. There was a time when Nate and Y&R suckers allowed. Holden was Damian, and while it was to gather intel, it was still a shady way to enter Genoa City. With that said, Holden didn't hold back when Lily threw that blameworthiness in his face. He was quick to point out that pretending to be Damian was just as sketchy as Nate meeting with him to offer him a job, when he'd another motive. The badinage between the three at Crimson sounded to potentially herald commodity. After all, Josh Griffith has been teasing that Lily is slated for a solid, true love plot in 2025. Still, while some suckers feel to suppose that this romantic interest could be Damian, will the show punk suckers formally again, and have it be Holden? Damian looks like the kind of man who always gets what he wants, especially now that he's come both rich and important. He and Holden are obviously musketeers, if not business mates, or conceivably have some kind of master-hand dynamic. How sticky would effects get if Lily and Holden participated sparks, and Damian was left out in the cold wave? It would clearly come a messy situation for Holden to either hold his passions back for Lily, or dive into them, head first, but have to hide the entire thing from his friend. Damian has trust issues as it is, so effects could get unattractive. This could each change, but as it stands, Holden seems much more like Lily's type than Damian. Will Nate's new half-family fall at his bases to impress Lily, only to get burned? Could he also try to stand in the way of a Lily-Holden love? There are so numerous ways this plot could go. Holden also seems to have a history with Audra Charles, but it's uncertain as to what kind of history they partake. What observers know so far is that he supposedly saved her from a situation. Audra doesn't want anyone to know about their history, and Holden knew about Tucker McCall. Could they simply be one-sex colleagues, ex-lovers? Potentially ever connected through family? Only time will tell, but this too could come in handicap in Lily and Holden's love. We will remain on the edge of their seats with this Damien plot, as further information is sluggishly revealed about him, how he erected his conglomerate, and what the deal is with Holden. The show could be gearing up for a raw bridegroom twist, which could lead to a certain character's marriage flopping hard. Y&R's coming marriage form could end in disaster, so let's talk about how effects might play out. Back when Abby Winters and Devin Winters got hitched, Audra Charles made her passions about connubial unions known. Although Audra tried to play up her belief that marriage was archaic and overestimated, she was still the one to catch the bouquet at the event. Of course, now we've got Holden Novak acting surprised over Audra settling down in a married relationship with Nate Hastings. That's commodity that has no mistrustfulness surprised Audra as well, since she was preliminarily further of a no-strings-attached kind of girl. Audra doesn't like to give her heart down, since that makes it possible for it to be broken. With all this in mind, the show seems to be setting Audra up for a crushing downfall. Audra should have come clean with Nate right down when it came to her history with Holden, but she chose to keep her mouth shut. There are easily some other secrets buried in Audra's history that she doesn't want anyone to know about. Holden helped Audra out of a jam back when she worked for Tucker McCall, and whatever that jam was must have been a doozy. Could Audra have gone to captivity if Holden hadn't interposed? Still, Audra might potentially still face charges, depending on whatever gets revealed down the road, if so. Anyhow, Audra's passions about marriage may evolve to the point where she agrees to marry Nate. It's easy to picture Nate locking in an Audra engagement in the not-too-distant future. That might indeed lead to an redundant speedy marriage if Audra and Nate want to tie the knot before Amy Lewis passes down. Amy has come like a mama figure to Audra, so we could buy the idea of Audra and Nate throwing their form together snappily so she could be there. Unfortunately, Nate and Audra's implicit attempt to wed may not go according to plan. Could that be when Audra and Holden's history connection gets revealed? Nate might leave Audra at the balcony if he realizes how much she's piled on the deception. It could lead to Audra running down in gashes, that's if she indeed makes it to the marriage at all. We could also imagine Audra being a raw bridegroom who bails on the form altogether if she fears the walls are closing in. It could lead to Nate getting stood up before eventually realizing Audra's been lying to him. No matter how it all goes down, Y&R has laid the route for Audra and Nate to potentially have a marriage day. Now that they've introduced this shady situation with Holden, they've also set the stage for Audra's heartache. That could mean Audra's espousal will fall piecemeal in the end, so stick with us for further marriage-related prognostications and updates on any bad news that's brewing. Audra has some desolation ahead no matter what. Of course, the network invited a sprinkle of top stars from its current cleaner lineup to help celebrate the groundbreaking new show, and also welcome BTG into the day drama fold. Well, by Melissa Claire Egan, Courtney Hope, Crystal Khalil, Brighton James, and Sean Dominic in attendance. Lawrence St. Victor and John McCook were there, as well. Meanwhile, BTG stars who attended included Clifton Davis, John Lindstrom, and Carly Mosley. There were some nice moments caught on film, especially one of BNB alum Mosley posing with her former co-stars McCook and St. Victor, not to mention a beautiful print-op with all the CBS Day stars who were there. Still, some of the funnier clips, which were spotlighted on BTG's Instagram stories, were when BTG's family cleaner stars were asked to describe Beyond the Gates in just one word. Y&R's Melissa Claire Egan, Courtney Hope, and Sean Dominic were over first in a videotape, and each gave a different answer as the camera condemned sluggishly along each star's face. Egan noted that BTG was racy, while Hope stated the show could be added up with the word temptation, and Dominic replied with corruption as he broke down laughing. Their associates, Brighton James and Crystal Khalil, were over next with a clip, and they were suitable to keep their day drama faces complete, as James noted. In a serious tone that BTG's one-word description was dishonors, as Khalil said, plutocrat. And his answer was, power. It looks like all the CBS Cleaner stars had a blast, as they celebrate the newest addition to the network. We should brace themselves for drama, sizzling scenes, and chaos once the characters behind and outside of the Fairmont Crest gates make their massive debut.